Okay, this video is a conversation with a really smart internal medicine doctor. Okay, so it starts out that, I said to him, hey, how you doing? He says, oh, I'm happier these days. I'm enjoying medicine more. And I said, well, why is that? He says, because now that I've been studying the low-fat vegan diet for a year, I know how to help people. And I said, well, I thought you said you're working long hours and the patients aren't interested in the vegan diet. He said, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I don't mind the long hours when it's for a good cause. And even if the patients don't listen, and they usually don't, I'm still happy because I gave them a real chance. I wish I had learned this stuff 20 years ago or earlier. He says, I feel that, every medical student, every pre-med student should be taught this stuff. I feel that learning the role of the vegan diet in health brings me closer to God. I mean, it's right there in the Bible, Genesis 1:29. God said that plants should be our food. And then he also said in Genesis 1:27 that man is created in the image of God, so man is part divine. Internist, yeah. And that means we should not abuse him by lying to him about drugs that don't work. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, look at Revelations 18:23. For thy merchants were the most powerful men on earth, and by their sorceries were men deceived. The other word for sorcery is pharmakeia, like pharmacology, to cast spells and to use magic potions, which was seen as demonic by the early Christians, okay? Yeah, I know. And the average chump patient, they think that drugs are real and that diet is fake, but the opposite is true. Internist, it's obvious. The low-fat vegan diet with no oil is the only thing that works. It's the only thing that makes sense. It makes sense from the Bible. It makes sense from the biochemistry and molecular biology. It's the only thing that makes sense from the epidemiology and the research study. Nathan Pritikin was right when he said fat is bad. And I said, yeah, and McDougall was right when he said that fat is the biggest toxin in the Western diet. And I said, yeah, and the high-fat phonies are trying to trick everybody and pretend that fat's good for people, all the fat they're pushing. And internists, yeah, McDougall told the truth. He said people will get better when they eat a low-fat, starch-based vegan diet. I said, yeah. Internist, Pete, you need to make backup copies of all your lectures. I think the big corporations are going to keep pushing until they get all this low-fat vegan diets deleted off the internet. I think it's going to be swept under the rug. That's the way I see it going. Look at Kempner. Kempner is this freaking genius and all the great things he did. But if McDougall hadn't, taught people about his legacy, he would have been swept under the rug and forgotten forever. And I said, yeah, same thing with Burkitt, same thing with Roy Swank, and Pritikin would have hung on a little longer, but if it wasn't McDougall, Pritikin too also would have been swept under the rug and toast. And I said, yeah, I see where that's going. And he said, yeah, and I said, I'm trying to keep McDougall's legacy alive. I think the high-fat phonies are trying to sweep it under the rug and hide it. I see it being pushed away, and the internist agreed with that. So anyways, interesting conversation. Beware of pharmakeia, sorcery.